In the midst of social turbulence and political upheaval, one book emerged as a groundbreaking analysis of power in American society. Power Elite by C. Wright Mills ignited a firestorm of debate and scrutiny in the 1960s, shedding light on the inner workings of America's ruling class. Written by sociologist C. Wright Mills and published in 1956, The Power Elite dissected the interconnectedness and interlocking of political, economic, and military institutions in the United States. He said the interlocking is clearly revealed at each point of crisis in modern capitalist society: slump, war, and boom. Mills argued that power in America was concentrated in the hands of a small group of elites, composed of political, corporate, and military leaders. The Big Three, as he dubbed them, had immense power over the average ordinary person. Major corporate leaders, according to Mills, are the strongest. However, these corporate leaders need the politicians and military. This forms a three-way alliance between the Big Three. They work together in their own self-interest, gaining power and directing the masses to their will. One example of this is that they replace the family unit with the state and school in order to give themselves more power over individuals. This is just one example he gave. Against the backdrop of the civil rights movement and the Vietnam War, the power elite resonated with a generation grappling with questions of authority and inequality. This generation would read this book and be inspired because to them, it made sense. They were disillusioned with the system at hand. During this time period, think tanks and policy elites started to be more involved in politics. The civil rights movement showed how the Big Three had to give concessions to the masses. This book would eventually become the backbone for modern-day anti-establishment movements. Politicians and policymakers found themselves confronted with Mill's damning critique, leading to calls for greater transparency and accountability in government. The power elite sparked a national conversation about democracy, class, and privilege, leaving a permanent mark on American intellectual thought. The movements that it started still exist to this day. As the clock ticked on, Mills's words continued to reverberate, reminding us of the enduring importance of understanding power in society.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals.